What's going on guys, Mirai here, back with another video. So I've been playing Naraka Bladepoint pretty extensively for the past few days, and hey, I'm not super good or anything like that, but I have been steadily climbing the ranks, and I have noticed that a lot of players do some stuff in the game that are not very efficient. And so today, I'm going to be giving my top 5 tips for beginners on how to improve quickly in Naraka Bladepoint. So let's get right into it. The first and most important tip is time management. Among all your resources in this game, time is the most important. You have to be able to do things faster than everyone else, and for that to happen, apart from just playing a lot and knowing what decisions to make, you also have to constantly be thinking about what's going on in the game. You have to be focusing on where you're heading next and what your next actions are. You never want to just be walking around aimlessly or not knowing what you're after, whether it be getting loot, doing your bounty quests, or traveling to the Rift Shop. You always want to be thinking about your next moves and adapting to the game as it progresses. Number 2, master your combos. Now this comes with a little bit of practice, but you do need to learn your weapon combos. You can do that by messing around in the practice tool and at least get a feel for all the weapon types. You may have a preference for certain weapons in the game, but you're not always guaranteed to get your desired weapon type, and sometimes you barely even get any weapon you like. So, it is very important for you to know how certain weapon works, and more importantly, how they interact with each other. The practice tool is really good for that since there's an AI there, and you can even mess around with different souljates that alter your weapon's behavior. But I wouldn't really put too much emphasis on that because those souljates are hard to come by in actual games, but it's still good to get a rough idea on how they work. You should also be looking to learn how to combo your character's skills into your fighting style as well. For example, characters like Viper Ning have skills that create distance between you and the enemy, and you might want to look for longer range weapons like the spear or the longsword to gain the tempo advantage. Number 3, main a character. Okay, I'm saying it right now. In PvP games like these with multiple characters and possibly more to come in the future, it is very important to pick a character that fits your playstyle and focus on mastering that character and play it to the highest level that you possibly can. However, this does not mean that you can just pick one character right off the bat and play it all the way. As a player that is just starting out, I highly recommend you play through all the characters in the game first. And by that, I don't mean you just play 1 or 2 games with them and stop. No, you have to learn all the characters well and learn about the different variations of their skills so you know what every character is fully capable of and how to deal with them the next time you face them in combat. Also, after you play through all the characters and get their basic skills and playstyle down, it'll also be easier to pick a main character from there, so there's really no disadvantage for trying out different characters at the start. Number 4, Grappling Hook. Now this comes as a bit of a shocker to me personally, but I realize that some people don't use the Grappling Hook as much as they should be doing. The Grappling Hook is such a good tool, and not only can you use it on terrain, but also people. This is super useful in extended fights because you have the ability to get close. Now, of course, there are counterplays like getting smacked in the face with a longsword charge attack while you're flying towards the enemy, so do be careful of that. Also, I've seen people taking out their ranged weapons to shoot at me when I shoot at them first. That's generally not a good idea since I already have the advantage of hitting you with my weapon first. If both of us are aiming properly, then by default I'm gonna outtrade you since I have the first shot. The counterplay is actually to rush me with a grappling hook because if I get grappled while I'm holding a crossbow, I could potentially be rushed to death by a spear or another melee weapon. As with all the previous tips, do try to synergize your hook with your skills, especially if you are playing characters that can put some distance between you and the enemy, like Matari or Ning. I personally try to keep at least 2 stacks of grappling hooks in my inventory at all times in case I get into an extended fight, especially in late game where resources are harder to come by and back-to-back fights happen more often. Number 5, spend your coins. The Rift coins that are attained in the game only stay in that game, much like gold in League of Legends. So please try to spend them whenever you can to get an advantage. The Rift Shop can be found all over the map and they sell a bunch of good things, so do make sure you pay them a visit or at least plan a route there every once in a while when you have the coins to spend. Now, as to what to actually spend the coins on, I personally recommend opening up your Souljate slots followed by your item bag slots. You can open your weapon bag if you choose to, but I personally don't really need that. Next, I prioritize Souljates. Now, of course, with Souljates, they are basically just RNG and it really depends on your luck as to what you get, but these are the things that you generally want to spend on for the most part. Also, as it gets later into the game and the circle's closing in on you, you might want to stock up on the essentials like Battalia, armor powder, and weaponry chests. So those are my top tips for beginners going into Naraka Bladepoint. I have tried to cover the basics and the most essential stuff, so hopefully this video will help you guys out. Now if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like and do consider subscribing to the channel. Now that's gonna be it for me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!